So welcome back everybody, my name's Andrew and you're watching the Kelley's Country Life. And as we've been building this pole barn house for the last 13 months, I often get asked, what are we doing with this odd space right here? So when we originally set up our house plans with the architect, we decided to leave a dead space here because our shower is already so huge as is. We had two options: either make the shower even bigger, carrying it all the way to this wall, which we felt like was absolute wasted space, or try to utilize and use something in this small area. Now I know to the eye it looks like there's just not much you can do here, but I have always envisioned building some sort of pull-out linen closet. So that's what we're going to do today. My original plan was to build a full-size closet that sat on the floor on rollable casters so you could roll it in and out, but I got to looking, it was going to create some issues. So with the way the door is in this bathroom, you'd hit it, which we can close it, that's no problem. But the biggest issue was going to be once I got the running trim along the bottom wall and coming across, it was really going to take up even more room of pulling out. If things aren't absolutely perfect, you're going to constantly scrape along that trim, leaving marks, just lots of different reasons, but I did not want to have to make the space any smaller for trim to run along this wall. So I've played with a lot of different designs in my head, and ultimately what I've decided, I think I'm going to do a 42-inch cabinet here that pulls out and a 42-inch cabinet here. We're going to build a decorative piece that goes against the wall here and connects over here. This is all going to be 100% custom built. Now I got online and ordered some very heavy duty, I mean extremely heavy duty, 36-inch drawer slides. These are rated for 250 pounds. I have two sets of these. I'm going to put one on each pull-out cabinet right here. All right, so for starters, I've got to rip down a sheet of this 1/2-inch veneer. You don't even want to know what I paid for it. I can tell you the next size up with this is currently $98 a sheet at Lowe's. Oh man, we got to hurry up and see an end to these wood prices. Now the good news is, lumber futures are showing that lumber should start dropping at about any time in the stores now, because lumber futures have been dropping for the last few weeks. So for those of y'all that are holding off on your wood projects, it's looking like you're going to see a break in wood coming. Now the question is everybody going to buy it up like they did last time when it dipped and shoot it right back up? I can tell you we've got a deck that's been waiting on lumber to drop, and just as soon as I see it, I'm picking mine up. So what I did is I just put a small 1/4-inch round over bit in here. I want a nice rounded over edge on one side only. It'll make more sense once we get this installed. It's more for looks than anything else. So I'm gonna run this round over bit down this one side here, get the look that I want, and then we can start laying out and cutting openings for where the cabinets are gonna go. Okay, so what I did was I laid a straight edge across this wall and made a mark over on this wall. So now I know I am perfectly flush across. That little mark's right there, that's where this handy dandy laser comes in. I don't have to do any more measuring. So I just shot this line up and down. So what I'm needing to do is attach a piece to this wall, so whenever I put this face frame in that I just made, I've got somewhere to attach to so it's not wavy going up and down the wall. I also just took my stud finder and found a stud in the wall right here, so I made sure I ripped down a piece that's big enough to not only go in here and allow somewhere for my face frame to attach to, but now I can go into the studs. That'll make this piece really secure. I'm not attaching to drywall, and our hinges, the first screw that we're going to put in the hinge, or drawer slides, excuse me, are actually going to attach to this as well. So I want to make for sure it's attached to a stud. So hopefully this will be a little more clear now. Now my face frame can attach to that new straight edge that I just put in. I shoot some brads in, screws, whatever I want, and do the same over here. And this will be perfectly flat. All right, so now that I have a first coat of paint on my faceplate here, I can do the rest of the painting once everything's in place. I'm just gonna tack some 16 gauge brad nails in to hold this to that piece that I attached to the wall and studs, and there's 2x4s behind the wall right in here. I'm gonna pop a few brad nails into that. All right, so what I'm getting ready to do right now is make my shaker appearance door fronts. So what you're seeing I did was I bought some of this pre-primed 1x4s and I ripped it down because it was just too wide for as small as these doors are gonna be. I've got the dimensions that I'm looking for in order to put all this together, but how I want to put it together is with what's called a pocket hole jig. Now I bought this one from Craig. I really love Craig's products. Actually, I've had some of y'all send me some stuff out that I've got to test, but I own several of their products. So what this does, it comes with a special drill bit with a collar on there, and you can see it's labeled for the thickness of material. And it comes with this pocket hole set. You can take this apart and drill only one hole, or you can double it up for 2 holes like I'm gonna drill right here. But essentially what this does is it presets a drill and bit to only go a certain depth down into the hole. It allows a small hole to come all the way through for the screw to come out, but then it leaves a much larger hole and an area for the screw head to pull against this piece into the other. So this allows you to get the perfect angle to shoot a screw in, kind of leave it hidden, and fasten 2 pieces together. Let me show you how it works. So all you do is set that to the thickness wood. So it's got 1.5 inches for your 2x material, 3/4, which is what I'm working with here, all the way down to 1/2 inch. And then you clamp it to the workpiece right there so it can't go anywhere. Now that I have this little collar locked down on my bit showing 3/4 inch material through that little hole and this clamped to my workpiece, I am ready to run this down through there. Now you can see I have perfect pocket holes that I can put a screw down in. It'll poke out right here and pull into the other piece. And you can put wooden dowels in here to fill this in. You can put some of that wood putty, or you can just leave it as is. It'll be on the back side of the door. So I'll be the first to admit this is the first set of cabinets I've ever built in my life, and I already know I'm going about it wrong. For example, y'all seen that I just routed a lip here because I'm going to inlay a piece of this 1/2" material for the inner piece of my cabinet here, my cabinet door front. Now, if money wasn't an object, I would go out and buy nice router bits or nice table saw blades, and I would actually cut a groove down the middle, assemble all this together, plus then I'd have to go out and get like a 1/4" sheet of veneer. Before you know it, there's an extra $150 or $100+ in one set of cabinets. If I did that throughout this entire house build, didn't try to make things myself and constantly went out and bought things like that, well, before you know it, we would have thousands more in this house. So that's just not an option right now. So that's why I chose just to use what I have. There is ways to make this look a whole lot better, I understand that. But at the end of the day, this is also the back side of the cabinet door that we're talking about here. Now, if I was making kitchen cabinets or things like that, that you're really gonna see often indoors or constantly gonna be open, yeah, I would go out and invest in those other bits and pieces of wood. So I still have a little bit of chiseling to do in a few areas, but I'm gonna go ahead and put these cabinet door fronts together. So every single end is gonna get glued and then screwed with those pocket hole jigs that you've seen. I could have brad nailed and avoided the pocket holes and done, like I said, lots of different things here, but I wanna make this very, very secure. So I'm just putting a little glue on this end piece, spreading it around, butting it up to my other piece, putting my pocket hole screws in. And you can use regular screws, but these pocket hole screws have a nice flat head and do work a little better. The reason I like the screws over brads is because it's going to pull these pieces tight. All right, so here we are with one shaker front assembled as far as the frame goes. And now I'll finish chiseling out these corners. We'll cut a piece that'll drop down in here, so it'll actually look like a cabinet door front. one by four lips on here, and I wanted to do that for a couple reasons. One, I don't want stuff to fall out of my shelves. This will make more sense later. And I want nice thick material that I could screw into, because my hinge is actually going to connect to one of these. That's why I'm going ahead and not only did I glue this? I brad nailed it. Now I'm going back and screwing it because this one is going to support a lot of weight with the hinge attached to it. Alright, moment of truth. Is all the measuring any good? Luckily that one went in a whole lot easier than the other one. I gotta do some minor adjustment. Caulk a bunch of this in. And yeah, a few other things. All right, well here it is. Boy, that was a long couple of days here building this. My hat's off to you guys and ladies that are true cabinet makers. I am not set up at all, don't have the proper type of equipment by no means. This was a heck of a challenge, but I'm glad I tackled it. I love building things like this. So I'm at a stopping point. While this is not 100% complete, had some handles that I'm not happy with because of the way they have to mount. We're going to have to get some that so I had to screw through from the outside, and they can't screw through from the inside. That's the type of handles that we currently have. So I'm gonna have to pick some up. I think I'm gonna put one here, because you wanna pull these out in the center. I've still got to do one additional coat of paint. I only have to touch up in just a few areas right there. I just got done caulking and sealing everything. I may do a tiny little bit more there, but you get the overall idea. Now we can show this off. So what I'll do is take care of the handles, that last coat of paint, and over the next several days, after Tiffany and I get done doing some things that we have, and I pick up those handles, we'll start putting stuff in here. As you can see, I still have to paint the wall, lots of odd things, trim the floor, but ultimately what I'm trying to say is in an upcoming episode, I'll show you all this with towels, washcloths, soap, shampoos, things like that in there actually in use. We're just not gonna be able to stock it for several days until all the last coats of paint and everything's done. But here it is, check this out. So I went ahead and designed this to where I could open it even with this door closed, or you can close this door. I'm gonna scratch my paint right up there and still come out about 3 more inches, but there's no need because look, I can reach all the way to the back side. So this is a 36-inch deep cabinet. Again, I got 250-pound rated hinges. They seem to be holding it just fine. We're not planning on putting a ton of weight in here. A little bit of soap, shampoo, everything else is just gonna be towels, washcloths. And to be honest with you, we've already got more storage than I think that we need because all we use is whites, no colors, nothing else. And here is the bottom. So you can see what I've done here. The bottom shelves I left at 16 inches, so if we want to put big shampoo bottles with pump heads on it, won't be a problem. Most of those are 12 plus inches anyways. Plenty of clearance and room here. All these other ones up here are right at 12, actually they're exactly 12 inches, which should cover just about anything that we need. You can see I did the lips here, so if we do roll up towels, washcloths, shampoo, soaps, things aren't gonna kick and just fall right out on you. Plus, this right here is flush with this wall, so should something fall over, there's no lips inside the wall here for anything to catch on. Not saying that it won't ever bind up with a towel or washcloth, but chances are I can kind of get this open and figure out whatever it is. But the towels we're gonna roll up, stick in here. We can put quite a few, as many as we want, more than we probably currently own. Washcloths, hand towels, things like that are gonna fold up square and rectangle just like you normally would. You can lay them in here as deep as you want. And should I have any issues in the future with things falling out, I can actually, I've already thought of a design there. I could put a piano hinge here, maybe a 1/4 inch piece of plywood that'll fold down to here, and you could close this off. And I could leave it just like this, maybe with some latches or something, so I could actually flip this up. You can get what you need out and close it back. And that is only if we ever start experiencing a lot of stuff falling out and this binding up. But like I said, I've already got an idea in mind on how to take care of that. So I am no cabinet maker, take it easy on me. This is the first set of cabinets I have ever built, but here is what they look like. Put some caps on the screws here, or I could plaster those in if I wanted to. As you can see, what was a small, dead, wasted area has now turned into a ton of storage. Wow. You should feel all the air pushing out of there. So I'm happy with the little shaker style cabinet fronts that I did. I may do a little touch up sanding here, but overall, I can't complain for my first attempt at doing this, and with no more tools than I currently have for doing things like this. Well, hopefully y'all enjoyed it. Like I said, on an upcoming episode, we're gonna show you this thing full with the handles and that last coat of paint on there, as well as the room trimmed out. This is the last like 2 to 3 pieces of trim to do in the entire house. Thank y'all so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it.